All right, women activists there talking about the need for more space, but most importantly, effective participation on the part of women in elections. Like I said before, we have with us the Commissioner for Compliance and Enforcement at the Equal Opportunities Commission, Mr. James Mugisha. Mr. Mugisha, many thanks for joining us here on Morning at NTV. Thank you, Chris. Good morning, viewers. You heard what the women have talked about and some of the challenges that they do face. It is a case of each finding their way in this particular space. I know within the greater context of equal opportunities for each one of us, including the women, including the youth, it is something that your commission is working very much on. Give us the thrust ahead of the general election and what the conversations are within the boardroom.
Yeah, thank you so much. The Equal Opportunities Commission, as you are aware, the mandate why it was created was to reduce that gap, the gap that has been expanding, to eliminate discrimination and marginalization within our societies. What we realized is that this government has done a lot to make sure that these special interest groups are included. There is inclusive planning, inclusive budgeting, to make sure that they're involved. But when it comes to women participating in elective posts, we still are struggling. As we talk right now, it is 34% of the women in this 11th parliament. And that is a very, very great milestone after having the affirmative action of each and every district to be represented by a woman.
By a woman, yeah.
That gives us 146. There are other special interest groups that we have women in parliament. For example, on workers, there are two. Yeah, they are on persons with disabilities. Yeah. We have 3. UPDF, they are, I think, 2. So in total, we have 189 members of parliament in this 11th parliament.
On the affirmative.
On the affirmative action.
Ticket, yeah.
But when you go directly, elective constituency, to take head on, we only have 14 women in parliament. So out of 529 MPs, you can imagine there are only 14. That means that we still have a lot of work to do to make sure that women are empowered, women can come and face us men directly and participate.
Wow.
Yes.
That's interesting. But I increasingly see the levels of participation in elective politics, especially at the lower levels. If we are to use parliament as the threshold, wouldn't we be misrepresenting that? Aren't the women in elective posts, including councillors, chairpersons at local government level, is it the same?
It is actually even worse.
Wow.
When you see, for instance, now on the LOC 5 chairpersons,
we don't have.
It is 2.6%
across the country.
Across the country. That means that every 100 seats available for LOC 5 chairpersons, you will only have 26 persons, women who are there. When you go to the vice chairpersons, that's where they have increased. They are around 16%. When you go to the district speakers, we don't have women there. When you go to the councillors, they are only available where it's only on affirmative action.
On affirmative action.
Where it was created by this government. That's why actually we are grateful for this government to open up for these women to have those spaces. But you've seen how they were raising the issues that actually eliminate them from politics.
That is right.
Yeah, you talk of this, it is commercialized. You talk of if you don't have anything on you, you can't come and compete. And the Equal Opportunities Commission has been doing these studies. We've engaged women one-on-one, and we ask them, what is the issue? She will tell you, the man I have is take back my daughter to school. I cannot go and waste it in politics.
That is right.
Those are the voices that are coming out from these women. So there is a lot that we need to do to make sure that women actually come out and compete favorably.
Okay.
Yeah.
Allow me keep it there at the commercialization of politics and how it has adversely affected the ability of women to be able to engage constructively and readily into the political processes of the country. As the Equal Opportunities Commission, this is a problem that you should be able to address by speaking or seeking collaboration with the responsible agencies and authorities, including the Electoral Commission.
Yeah.
Has the conversation about fees for elective positions come or surfaced on the table? Are you engaging on this in order to see a reduction, but also to allow for this space to be readily accessed by the women?
Yeah, thank you, Chris. Equal Opportunities Commission has been engaging. We were actually supposed to have a meeting with the Electoral Commission officials last week, but because of ED, it was postponed. And those are the issues that we are going to present to them. We are working closely with the Committee of Equal Opportunities in Parliament. We are working with the Committee of Gender in Parliament. And we've gone to these sub-regions, and we have evidence to show that actually the money is being paid for someone to come in office is a lot. It bars those competent women that would be participating, not only women, including youth. Youth has already petitioned us at Equal Opportunities Commission that they are actually discriminated. They cannot participate based on the fees that are put on each and every competitive post that is going to come the 2026 elections. So as the Equal Opportunities Commission, we are engaging and we are calling upon all stakeholders to join us to make sure that we fight for the space for the vulnerable people who can actually come and also compete in these elective positions. Yeah.
Now, the affirmative ticket has its pitfalls, including the fact that it again de-enfranchises women.
Yeah.
This is the perfect example. You have members of parliament, women representatives, who have held these positions ever since the ticket was available.
Yeah.
I won't fail to mention, we have the former speaker, Rebecca Kadaga.
Yes.
She has held this position on affirmative action ticket for all these years. Yet, her position can even allow her to run as a mainstream contender against men for other positions or elective seats. It is feared that the tendency for the powerful women to use the affirmative ticket, yet they can go mainstream, hinders the ability of other women to take on that particular,
Yeah, we've seen that. You are not the first one to raise it. Before celebrating Women's Day, the Speaker of Parliament has now been organizing women to come and also have their debate. We saw them on the floor of Parliament raising that same issue.
Yeah.
They were saying that we put term limit.
They must be capped.
Yeah, that we put
every
a cap
woman has a maximum of two
terms,
and then another woman can.
But to us, that's not a solution to our problem. Our problem needs to be addressed comprehensively, because if we empower more women down there, there's no need to come and say that then what about men? So men, for them, they stay there because you don't put a cap, they rule forever. That one shouldn't be the issue. The issue should be, how do we bring more women on board to come and participate, to come and influence, and at all levels, including the local councils, the ones we have talked about.
That's right.
I am proud of my chairperson, Honorable Safia Narure.
Okay.
She came through the ladders. She was a councillor here at KCCA, and she's proud to say that.
Wow.
So she reached at KCCA, she found that actually issues of persons with disabilities were only pushed into one department. So she moved to other departments. Just, where is the budget for persons with disabilities? Where are the issues of women? Where are the issues of children? They would keep referring her to the community-based services. Are those issues you are asking? So she said, oh, that means for a woman to come out, you have to pass through one department. What about these other departments with huge sums of money? Who is addressing the issues of gender and equity? So she said, no, I have to move to a higher level. That's how she ended up in Parliament. She was in Parliament for the 15 years. And the certificate of compliance, it was her brainchild. She said, no, we must have a certificate for all these agencies to make sure that when they are planning and budgeting, they plan for women, they plan for persons with disabilities. All these vulnerable people should be included in budgeting, because that's where the problem starts.
That's where the problem starts.
Yeah, if you don't empower me, don't expect me to come and compete. Take me to school, take me to a health facility, give me food. Those are all issues that encircling with planning and budgeting. So if you look at a budget and it is in one department to take care of all this, and the majority, the latest census has shown that women are at 51%, youth are the majority. But when it comes to planning and budgeting, we close an eye and we don't want to go to that side. So that's why she said, no, I must go to a higher level and advocate.
Okay.
So that's how we want all other women to come up and use the same platform and campaign for their basic needs, to make sure that all women, wherever they are actually included in the government of Uganda, and they are not left out.
Okay, no doubt her story is very inspirational, and it does give the kind of confidence, especially to any woman out there, that they can also come through. Now that we are nearing the 2026 general election, the fear is that women are going to be particularly vulnerable. First and foremost, because of the nature, their femininity, and the sheer circumstances that will be occasioned upon the population as we go. We've already seen what many are describing as the litmus test, the warning signs of what 2026 will be: violence against the population. It is feared that as we inch closer, the tension is going to get high, the stakes are going to rise, and women are going to find themselves victims of political violence. The Equal Opportunities Commission must be thinking about these things. Safety. The Electoral Commission has been put on the task, on the spot rather, to ensure that safety of women is paramount, but generally safety of everybody else, including journalists, because we're also vulnerable in that mix. What are you talking to the Electoral Commission and to the government about when it comes to protection of Ugandans, especially security forces, and the violence that they meet against the people?
Thank you so much, Chris. It's a very, very big challenge, and we've seen this year in, year out when it comes to election period. Violence comes with that. And as the Equal Opportunities Commission, we are standing against that. That's why we are fixing this meeting with Electoral Commission, because it's their responsibility to make sure that they protect women. The most vulnerable here are the women, youth. We've seen now the police also the journalists being targeted, and we are not sitting down. We want to engage. We need to be protected, because each and every Ugandan has a right, and that's why we are saying that every person that should come on board should be given an opportunity to showcase what they have to show. And this violence, His Excellency has been mentioning them, it is the cowardly nature in a human being. Why would you need to be to use security if you know you are competent, what you are going to put on table, and that is good enough, but you need to be protected, and you cause violence to someone who is actually weaker than you? So we are condemning that, and we are going to have several engagements. What we need to do is to put it on sub-regional level. We've seen most urban areas, they are the ones that are affected much, because you find a woman there, she's informed, she's able to take you on, but she's now the most targeted. So we want to have those dialogues in urban centers. We have already moved to districts to sensitize these councillors, because every Ugandan here has a role to play. It's not only the police, but also these leaders. If you have another DC alone can calm down the situation. If he stands on his ground and says, no, we want fair treatment here as another DC, because this is representing the president.
Representative of the president.
If the president has directed, no one should be harassed. We can have a very smooth elections without that violence, and we will celebrate that as a country. Okay,
Mr. Mugisha, many thanks for those words. They stand very firmly in, of course, giving hope to millions of Ugandans out there who are looking at the 2026 general election with a little bit of fear. Your last word, if you have any?
Yeah, thank you so much, Chris. I would like to call all women listening in, the youth, persons with disability, even the ethnic minorities. Come 2026, this is your time to shine. Don't be intimidated. Don't fear to come out. However difficult it is, use this time to come out, and you make sure that you also participate in the forthcoming elections. As Equal Opportunities Commission, we shall be out there to give you all the support that is needed. We do this for God and my country.
Yes, thank you very much, Mr. James Mugisha, Commissioner, Compliance and Enforcement at the Equal Opportunities Commission. You've done us well in clarifying and, most importantly, giving us hope, especially when it comes to including women in politics. So you have it. Now, let me switch to Koboko, where my colleague Rashul Adid is. Rashul Adid has been looking at a multi-billion shilling government of Uganda funded hospital project that has stalled, and that will make the crust of the conversation. If the pictures I'm seeing here are anything to go by, construction that started in 2019 and was supposed to be complete by 2023 appears to have remained at the first floor or ground floor phase. Since the inception of the project, only 2.6 billion Uganda shillings has been given to the contractor, and he's expressing worry that the delays will continue unless that particular tranche of money is availed. Let me go to Rashul Adidi. A very good morning. Mr. Rashul, how is Koboko away from the delays and the stalling of projects that are supposed to ensure service delivery is improved?